Alabama stole a kicker, and steal is not the right word. They outbid for a kicker, but we have a very intriguing reaction from a player. I'm sorry, a coach about his player going to Alabama. Now, the question I have is not about the transfer portal. We know that's a thing, but let's play this. Can we pull this up, Caleb? Do we have this available?
Do we have what available?
Oh, sorry, I'll send that to you. It's on if it's on the link on the rundown. If you can pull that up.
Oh,
So,
you're asking about the Alabama story. You want me to tell you the full story of what was said? Okay.
well, no, the video is awesome. Can we pull the video up on
Yes.
the link? Yeah, let's pull that up. Okay, so here's my problem. I do not have a problem with some smaller schools like the Chattanoogas of the world turning into more of a high school type of sport. I don't mean ability wise, but here's what's going to happen. There's going to be a mega conference. Every team's going to have 105 scholarship players. That's going to go into effect next year. So there's going to be fewer players to go down on that level. I'm sorry. That's life. People aren't good enough to do certain things they want to. However, my other issue that he addresses is tampering. Now, tampering would be when you're contacting a player during the semester. There's a contact period that you're supposed to reach out to a player once they enter the transfer portal. All right, Caleb, let's pull this up. And I got it right there. And I want to play this clip. Do we have this?
And this is to be clear, this is Miami of Ohio football coach Chuck Martin, who has been at Miami since 2014, which is weird to be at a smaller school like that for that long. But they did just win the MAC. So here's what he's saying now.
So Graham Nicholson, who is one of the best kickers in the nation, transferred to Alabama. And who in the world wouldn't? As opposed to meaningful kickoffs against Bowling Green, who wouldn't want meaningful kickoffs against Auburn? But anyway.
Yep. So here we go.
All right, special teams lost your kicker, Carter McLaughlin.
He's at. We didn't lose him. He's at Alabama. We know
exactly.
I
understand.
We know exactly where he's at. Like you media people, it's all pretend. Like no, Alabama stole our kicker.
Yes,
they illegally recruited illegally recruited our kicker and stole him from us. And like that's a fact. But that's but we act like it's not. We live in this la la world. Like hey, let's not talk. I don't know why everybody knows what's going on. So yeah, Alabama stole our kicker. A couple other schools tried to steal it, but then okay, what's the question?
All right.
So, first of all, I love how the media got, he works. You can tell he works for Miami Ohio because he's got the M on and he's like, oh, please don't make a ass of yourself. But he kind of did. But now, Kalen DeBoer was asked about this. He basically just shrugged it off. Okay. Is this just a part of doing business? Is tampering? Should that even be illegal? Caleb, I didn't call some regulatory institution to see if you would be interested in working together. Again, we're talking about 18-year-old men. It's gotten to the point where they're almost treated like incompetent children. I mean, for goodness sake, Caleb, if you can't give somebody a job offer because it's not the right time of the year, then how in the world are you supposed to win that court case when it comes to that? Because it will. Tampering shouldn't be illegal, and the NCAA can't enforce it. So I say, Josh Heupel, tamper away. If you don't think Merklinger is your answer as a backup quarterback, go take somebody else's. If you don't think that you have a great running back situation next year, take somebody else's. And I don't care if you text them during the middle of their game. Guys, that's just the way life is. Sometimes it just befuddles me how college football playoff can have these inane, archaic rules for what seems like just to create a debate. And that's what college football is. We argue more about college football than anything else. Caleb, that young man should be able to be approached whenever another coach decides to.
Dave, I'm gonna really, really, really go ham on Chuck Martin, the Miami Ohio coach here. But I have 2 reasons I want to go ham on him. Hard as a MF.
Okay.
I'm gonna go ham. But I'll let you decide which way I should go. I'm gonna hit him on both of these, but you tell me which one I should leave, because I got 2 problems with this. I have a problem with what he said about, quote, you media people, and I have a problem with his idea that his kicker was stolen. Which way should I go first?
The way his kicker was stolen, which he believes he was contacted, which would be tampering during the season, obviously.
You don't own your athletes.
Thank you.
These are not property, okay? When you say somebody was stolen, I mean, I'm not even trying to bring a race thing into it. That's like, you are acting like these are your slaves at that point, okay? You're acting like your kicker was your slave, that he is your property and you own him. I can't stand this in business. I can't stand this anywhere. When someone says you stole my asset, and the asset is a human being looking out for his own future and his own well-being, that is the most annoying thing. Derek Dooley said that going into 2012 when he said, schools just poached our staff. They didn't poach your staff. Those staff members were looking for better opportunities for themselves. Okay.
Thank you. And you don't think those coaches were contacted during the season by head coaches from other staffs or intermediaries? That's more tampering, because you're dealing with a person in a leadership role than I believe calling a player, or texting a player, or reaching out to a player on social media should be.
Yes, exactly. I'm going to give you a quick story real quick, because the local paper that I grew up with, the Commercial Appeal, had gutted its staff and everything like that. There's a new paper now called the Daily Memphian. A lot of people left the Commercial Appeal to start the Daily Memphian. It's a nonprofit. It's doing very well. The Commercial Appeal actually wrote an article saying, the Daily Memphian only built itself by poaching Commercial Appeal reporters. No, you weren't paying your reporters well enough, and you were gutting your staff so they went and started their own paper. Tough break. That's called capitalism. They can do what they want. You don't own people. That's my first bit of anger at Chuck Martin with this. You don't own your kicker. You got a problem with this. Then you need to have a problem with your administration not taking the steps necessary to make your program a Power 5 program the way your crosstown rival in Cincinnati, which for you guys who don't know, Miami of Ohio and Cincinnati is one of the oldest played rivalries in football. They were on the same tier 25 years ago. Now Cincinnati's in the Big 12. Miami of Ohio is still stuck in the MAC. You don't blame your kicker or Alabama for that. You can blame maybe college football as a whole, and maybe you can blame yourself for not taking the steps to move forward the way Cincinnati did. The other problem I have with Chuck Martin on this, you media people, coaches are the ones that go, oh, la, like everything's on the up and up. Like, are you kidding me? We've been saying tampering's happening for years.
Your media people is incredibly stupid, because that guy works for the university. You can tell he had a big Miami of Ohio. That's probably their play-by-play guy who is down. I mean, he's not your media people. He's not the one who's going to say that was a stupid call on 4th down. I mean, okay. This sounds this sounds really mean, because I don't know Chuck Martin, but based off that, I would rather play for an elite coach like let's say Kalen DeBoer. I consider him top 10 in the nation. I'd rather play for them for the same amount of money than I would for that goofball.
Yes, I totally agree. You media people, Travis, what do you mean by you people? Yeah, what do you mean by you media people? We are the ones. Have you ever listened to our show? Dave, me, and you constantly are like, yeah, this was actually what was really happening. And when media people talk about what's really happening, coaches all of a sudden want to gaslight you and be like, huh, no, we're on the upper up. We're coaches and we do everything by the book. Yes. And things like Butch Joe and Shy Tuttle landed on a helmet. But now Chuck Martin.
Well, I got a lot of examples worse than that, where Caleb, the big no-no used to be to promise a scholarship and to pull it, or run a guy off, because the way it used to work is the contract was 1 year on the player side and it was 5 years on the university side. That's the difference between the transfer portal. Caleb, there have been a ton of times where guys have done a lot of things far more nefarious than even what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. I'm absolutely sure there have been, we report on them a lot of times in the media, and I know you've done it too. So for a coach to complain about that, when you know the coaches are at the peak of pretending everything is, what did he say? His exact quote was, "You want to think." I'm sorry, I just want to pull it up real quick because of the way he said it, because it was just. He said, we live in this la-la world, accusing media people of living in this la-la world. Coaches pretend their football program is a la-la world all the time. Like, they are the worst of that, where they pretend it's their la-la world. So, I'm sorry. This is absolutely ridiculous. And someone had a great point on this, and I saw it on the side. It's like, it's true. Everybody loves capitalism until capitalism's done to them. I've always said that. And, CEOs and people will be like, I love capitalism until my employee can negotiate a higher wage because somebody else is going to hire him or poach him. Then they hate capitalism all of a sudden. That's what you're seeing here with these coaches. They love the capitalism when they can shop themselves around for whatever school pays them the most money, right? Oh, that's just the market. That's just the free market. When their players do the same thing, oh, they're getting poached. If Chuck Martin ever leaves for a bigger school, would Miami of Ohio say that he was stolen?
No. Hey, I'll tell you this too. Do you want me to tell you how to totally avoid it affecting your football team and being able to tamper at a high level? I mean, I'm contacting dozens of guys. Do you want me to tell you how to completely insulate your football team from being affected by anything the NCAA could do?
Sure.
I'll tell you what it is. It's really simple. Brought to you by Don Self, State Farm. Customer service still matters. For over 40 years, they built their business on taking care of their customers. Greater Chattanooga area, call 423-396-2126. Go to donself.net, donself.net. You schedule Chattanooga. That's all you do. Because Kirk Ferentz at Iowa just got suspended for a recruiting violation for one game. Steve Spurrier knew to do this. He scheduled preseason games, the 2 games before they played Tennessee. You just schedule an easy opponent. So if Josh Heupel tampers like a mother, I mean, he goes out and he's texting like crazy. He's texting other players in their games while he's on the sideline calling plays. He'll only get suspended for one game. And that can be the Chattanooga game. And maybe then you're able to give Tim Banks a little run and see what he can do as the head coach. Big whoopity deal.
No, you're right. You're right. That's the smartest thing to do. Now, to be fair to Spurrier, everybody criticized Florida for playing so easy out of conference a lot of times early, and everybody forgot that Florida had to play Florida State every year when Florida State was in their prime. So, why would they schedule another tough
I'm just talking about getting ready for the year.
No, but yes, in general, I agree with you. In general, I totally agree with you. Yeah, I agree. You don't schedule your big game first. Schedule them third. Schedule them third.
I completely agree.